What's up? Back again. This one is going to be freestyle. I just want to speak what's on my mind. A lot of times I speak on topics, but with this one, I may incorporate a lot of what's going on right now, and that'll be the topic. So maybe I'll call it New Era, maybe I'll call it 2020. Who knows what's to come? And that's the beauty of now. Let's get into it. You know what really grinds my gears? Trying to find something that is not reality. Striving for something that you can never obtain. Working for something that you will never be able to gain your full residual or your full rewards from. And I feel like that's life. It grinds my gears in multiple ways. In an aggravating way because it's something that you can never control, nor can you ever conclude. But it grinds my gears because it keeps me motivated and pushing and driven. And that could be a good or a bad thing. With me, I choose to look at it like a necessary thing in this world. With all these things formulating at the same time and so much impact, so much intensity, the way that I've learned to center myself is just to observe. Because the way I look at this realm is just on the aspect of just accentuating the inner personality. So the only way to understand that as a unit, all of us are being able to manifest this in this world. And that's why on a mass population, the whole globe at this point, everyone that are connected to some form of civilization are witnessing this transition of government, of politics, same thing, or just finances, jobs, your personal life, and what you would say is normal. Something like this would be abnormal, to be outside sitting just taking in the fresh air. That's actually abnormal. But for someone like me, I don't normalize things that I don't feel aligned to. And mask and sort, everyone can have their own opinion about it, because I understand people wanting to be healthy, or people having their own perception to what they see and choosing their actions and what they would think is wise. But for me, I just have a hard time breaking out of elements that feel unaligned to me when I really put into perspectives of the factual, practical objectives. So in other words, when I consider this 3D realm and everything that's happening, not how people are reacting, but the fact that it's a shift, and this shift is happening in the earth, it's happening in the skies, it's happening within our inners, it's happening in our food, it's happening in our schools, it's happening on almost every aspect at the same time. And that intensity is allowing people to really see things on a more realistic form. I feel like if it would have just been the tackle or war against schooling and allowing it to be more technical, then I feel like life would be able to still transition in a way that's normal. Obviously, I feel like the virus is something that was used as a catalyst to really construct this transition, but I feel like these transitions has been formulating for years. Is it my job to really try to be a detective? Not really, because it's 2020. That means a lot of things are coming into full circle and clear vision, and that's not by accident. I don't necessarily agree with the way of people wanting to start a war because of the fact that this is different, because of the fact that it's very masculine and aggressive and scary because you don't understand it. I don't necessarily agree with fighting or resisting or trying to challenge these paths, but I do agree with allowing yourself to have a place and an understanding that you connect to, and you moving in that with passion. With me, my passion is just embracing myself in these times and being very mindful of how I'm presenting myself and how I could assist others, because in these times it's not about proving anything. It's about showing and helping in what ways you can. It's not about the necessity for doing it to say that you're on a level that anyone is on, because one thing that I find so beautiful is the fact that celebrities or just people that are homeless, not saying that we are the same, but we are able to see the same structure and feel the same emotions, which is something I feel this world has never experienced for a while. Last time we experienced it is when people were trying to be of the last time I felt people experienced this is when they were trying to be of things that were not necessarily of their truest self, meaning that there are areas where I don't want to speak on one in particular, but when everybody's wearing a top hat, or when everyone was into opera, or when everyone was into civil rights, and that was a unit aspect, but you weren't necessarily formulating it off of your individual perception. But because everyone is so tapped into the inner now, because of the times of it being more technical and you having a voice for yourself and being able to express that, everything that's as a unit is being filtered still in an independent aspect. And I find it so interesting in this 3D realm for me to express myself in a way where I'm being mindful of everyone else, but also using it to evolve myself and my craft, the gifts that God has given me, and use it to help other people in regards to my writing, for example, which I believe is my passion, what I believe I'm here on this earth to do, because no one would be able to write like me, no one would be able to storytell like me, no one would ever be able to write a flow that would be so melodic as with me, because my energy is a signature. So when I use that to assist other people in their music, or when I use that to, in my novels, express in a very raw way, that's something that I feel I was put on this earth to specifically do within my energy. So using that passion that I feel is my gift to this earth, and still being able to tap into things that are traditional or on a unit or on a vague aspect of the world, and still being connected to people, it's beautiful for me. It's beautiful because a lot of times I feel like it takes that transition, a rough transition for people to really tap in. So now when I start to speak about things that are happening in my life, you're more interested in it because it's something that you could connect to. Not saying that you never could connect to all the situations, but this in particular is something that everyone is experiencing at this particular time in different elements and different realms. So the way that I react to it is to continue to be connected to that, and be progressive with that, and be as empathetic as I can to allow everyone to express in whatever they feel fit. My grandma died a month ago, and one thing that stood out to me is that everyone grieves differently. So I'm going to use this as an analogy. So if someone is grieving by boohoo crying on the floor passing out, and I'm grieving just being, internal, and being very grounded, and being very secluded, and being very introverted, that does not equate to this person being more hurt than the other person. It's just about the way that you perceive that. So to bring it back all into what I mean when I first started this, and I really want this to just tackle this specific element of reaction. The way that I react in these times is just to make sure that I'm grounded in who I am and what I want to show to the world, but also allowing it to be authentic to me and what I feel fit, regardless of how everyone else is reacting. And I would really suggest that people, if not listen to that, at least be open, or if not act on that same mindset, at least listen to it and be open to the concept and the agendas that would happen when you try to tap into yourself, rather than trying to tap into what the mass is trying to preach you to do or to push after. I feel like the mass is always something that makes me look on the opposing aspect. Not saying that I don't agree with what the mass are presenting or what it stands for, but I don't agree with the reaction of what the mass is telling us to do ever at this point. And in regards to the news, when they say put on a mask, the fact that they're going so hard about it, where they will put you in jail or make you feel like you have to be in a form of fear behind it, or whatever repercussion is given, I feel like because of that, and that's what they're pushing, that makes me feel uncomfortable with even wearing a mask. And it's interesting when I move in those ways, the way that the universe backs it up with fact, like it's not good for you health-wise. It doesn't really even serve any beneficial factors. But then again, for everyone it's different, because for some people putting it on, it might give them a form of support or security that it does not give to me. And if that's the case, I would tell them to do whatever they feel is best for them, in whatever way they feel like they need to tap in. But the only thing I would recommend with this civilization, or from my own experience, is just to really discover what it is that you will want to do in these times, because there's no better time than now to really tap into what's going to allow your mind to flourish and give you that positivity and happiness and fulfillment. And it's not anything that you could gain outside of you at this point, and that's very clear. So you have to learn how to create it from the inside, so we could shift that to the matrix on the outer. And I'm really taking the time to really acknowledge all the ways that this could be possible, and also appreciating the fact that mine is in a way where I can take in and give out while still being myself without having to abide by any other constructs that does not align with me. So I would recommend that everyone just tap into that energy and know that even if it's rough and it's hard, all those struggles, with my experience, all those struggles are finding you and making you really a diamond. So don't look at it like it's something that's going to be terrible, even if it never goes back to normal. Just make sure that you remember yourself and what you stand for. That's all you got. That's all you got at the end of the day. And this topic, I just wanted to point that out because there's so many shifts going on in this world, and it's getting a lot more intense rather than eluding, so I feel like it's time for me to start tapping into this energy, and this is just an intro of my stance or how I feel about it, how I will react to these type of things. But we're going to start going more in depth with the constructs that are really happening, and from my perception, what I believe is the best route to take. That's all I could give y'all. Y'all relate to it? Let me know. If not, I thank you for watching this video, and I will be open to your perception as well, because one thing about me is I know I don't know it all, and I don't want to know it all, but I'm interested in what you know. So, yeah. See y'all later. Love, toy, shit.